This is the House of Boom podcast, Boom on Sports, whichever it may have you. Tonight, man, we got a fun, dope, interesting episode. If y'all remember, way back when the Giants did the stupid thing, and they decided to let Saquon Barkley walk, and they paid for it dearly, as the Eagles are now in the Super Bowl. I wish the playoffs counted, because Saquon definitely had an MVP-like season, which the playoff performances counted towards that. But if y'all remember when, you know what I mean, I had June, the biggest boss, you know what I mean, shout out to June, come on, and he talked about how Saquon was dead to him, you know what I mean, but he didn't like the trade. He ain't like the trade, let's be honest. He not here to defend himself, so it's all good. But who I do have here tonight, man, is the other half of Off the Top Sports. Sports radio, you know what I mean? It's been a blessing to be in the presence of these brothers. They've allowed me to expand my mind in this thing called podcasting. They've given me an open invitation to, just pull up when I want to, and I'm able to, and have helped me grow. So it wouldn't be beneath me to not have the other half of Off the Top Sports. Come on. Tonight, I have Bahron Lucas, the other half. The spicier half, I would say. June be chilling. Then Brian be coming with the heat. You know what I mean? Bahron coming with the heat. Bahron. I called him Brian all these years, and 5 minutes ago, I was this years old when I found out his name was Bahron. That's terrible. But, we live, we learn, we grow. And when you know better, you do better. So without further ado, here is Bahron. What's going on, bro?
Yo, what's up, everybody? How y'all doing?
Look, now he calm today.
Nah, because y'all know. I really, listen, I get it. I don't have any no warrants or nothing like that, so the government is cool. But I go by the name of Be the Analyst. So, that's my, I don't want to say like my company name, but, that's my show name or my podcast name. But, for a lot of people that know me, that, he spit the government, Bahron Lucas, raised in East Orange. Did you want me to get to that yet?
Yeah, let's go for it. We here.
Right. Yeah, so just a little bit about myself. Born and raised in East Orange, New Jersey, Illtown, shout out to them. Always had a love for sports. Definitely played a few sports, through my high school and, really middle school, high school years, basketball, football, ran a little track until my knee. I had this crazy, not even an injury really. I ran the track meet one time, and then the next day when I came back to school, my knee was full of water.
Oh,
full of water and fluid, man. So, I think that was the first time I had like exuded my body in ways that maybe I never had before. Running track is definitely different from playing any other sport. I had been playing basketball, football, but my knee had never did that before. So my track career was over before it could even start. That was my junior year. That's just a little short story about me. I didn't do anything past high school. After high school, I was pretty much done with sports, and I just, went into the regular world. But I always been, very passionate about. Really, the main sports is football and basketball for me. Anybody that know me, I don't even want to say it, but Dallas Cowboy fan. And NBA, I'm still a Chicago Bulls fan. Jordan left, but I never did, so I still rock with those guys. My college basketball team, I have North Carolina Tar Heels, who aren't doing the best right now either, but, their time will come again. Baseball, I do watch a little baseball during the playoff time. That's the only local team I rock with is the New York Yankees. And college football is, I see it, the champs, the Ohio State University. So that's what I rock with.
He being humble because he being humble because he here today, man. He being humble. Nah, if I was on his show, he would let me know. Like, yo, it's the Ohio State. But
y'all knew. I mean, we talked on the show, right?
Right.
Try to tell y'all, man. Y'all was talking Notre Dame, and you and June. Shout out to my man June, the other half of All the Top Sports, man. We watched the game together. This is something that we have a habit of doing when our teams are playing one another, and my bro just continues to come to these different venues that we fellowship at, and leave with a not so happy feeling after the game is over. So it is what it is, man. I'm used to it now.
Man, it is what it is. To the victors go the spoils. Once they played, what was it? They played Tennessee that first game, Ohio State.
You kind of felt it, right?
Yeah, it was like, all right, this they did. I don't know. Respectfully, I don't know what happened between Michigan and Tennessee, but that Michigan loss woke up the beast for real. Ryan Day stopped saving stuff. You know what I mean? He I don't know what it was.
He stopped coaching scared.
He stopped coaching scared. He had his boy, Chip Kelly, who we'll get to in a little bit, had his back, and they opened up a can of Jeremiah Smith, the future Heisman winner. I'm just claiming it now. And after that, it was downhill. It was like, I don't care who in their way. Now, respectfully, Notre Dame did put up a fight. You know what I mean? It was I think at some point in that game, I was like, damn, this is Indiana 2.0. And then I almost turned off the TV. And then guess what? Notre Dame found a way to get back in that game. But like I said, Ohio State, they did what they had to do. How's it feel to be right?
I mean, it feels good. I had my reservations, towards the end of the season, and talking about that Michigan loss, or team up north, as Ohio State fans like to put it. But I didn't like how things went that day. I felt like the game plan was a little shaky on both, not really defensively, because I think the defense came to do what they were supposed to do. I just think offensively they just were just thinking too much and afraid to, just let everything just go, and kind of not really give the keys to Will Howard, but just give him the shot or have the confidence in him to be able to do what was necessary to win the game. There's a lot of talent around him, and sometimes they say you go as far as your quarterback go, and they definitely needed him to play at a high level in order for them to be able to hold up the trophy at the end of the year.
Here's a sidebar question: do you think Will Howard played himself? I knew he was going to get drafted no matter what. He was going to get a look. Played at Kansas State, Ohio State.
How many going with it too?
How many rounds do you think he upped himself just playing that in that performance?
I think now, honestly, Will Howard looks like maybe a third-round pick.
Okay.
You can, I could see some teams, Raiders, jumping up. Not even jumping up, but maybe not. Going quarterback in the first round. Maybe they go in a different direction, or maybe they trade back and try to get some more value. For the pick that they have, which I believe is like the 6th overall pick or something like that. I just think that he played really well when it mattered most, and that your draft stock will rise because of that. So,
I mean, I'm here with it. Now this gonna be my last Ohio State question. You might know where I'm going with this, but should Jeremiah Smith play another down of NCAA football? With that guy is the most ready prospect I've seen since. Remember when Mike Williams was like that? He's better. You know what I mean? And obviously Marvin Harrison, who y'all just not let go, but just graduated from y'all. But my God, should he?
Yeah, he should. I mean, I think about the Mike Williams thing all the time, because he was the one that tried to defy what the rules are. He tried to leave early, and it hurt him. I think in the long run, it hurt his NFL career. He came into the league a little heavier than what he was supposed to be. Never quite could, grasp a playbook. So I just think that, I know the hype around Jeremiah Smith is very, very high, but I think that Jeremiah Smith definitely should stay in school. And can he has to stay in school anyway because he was a true freshman, but play out the next 2 years of his eligibility, and then after his junior year, he still got some more to accomplish. I know he had one of the greatest freshman seasons probably of all time as it pertains to a wide receiver, but he definitely can. There's more he can accomplish. Like we talked about, possibly winning the Heisman. he was able to fulfill the ultimate goal of winning the national championship in his freshman year. So I'm sure once you feel that thrill of victory, and you get that taste of being able to win, I'm sure that they're going to want to do it again. I don't know if they'll be talented enough to do it again, because that's a new challenge. Now with new coaching staff and everything like that coming in. So, yeah, man, I definitely think he should continue playing though, because there's, even as perfect as he may seem as a prospect, there's still some things he could work on for sure.
Yeah, I hear that. You know,
Yeah.
Speaking of working on for sure, you didn't come into this sports media podcast space just you ain't just wake up and you worked on it. You found a way. June told us a little bit about the journey to Off the Top Sports. Figuring out you guys were like the perfect match and everything like that. But how did you, in your words, find your way to Off the Top Sports?
Well, me and June, we kind of grew up in neighboring towns. He grew up in Orange. I grew up in East Orange. Well, originally my early childhood was in Orange education. So I went to Orange elementary school in Orange, Park Ave Elementary, and I believe June went to Central, which is not far from, maybe a few blocks over on the other side of Main Street. But eventually, like I said, we met early years through playing basketball for the Orange Rec. It was the school rec league. I met a lot of guys, of my friends still to this day. But we met there, of course, through, rivalry and competition. So we've always kind of like had this thing where we would like talk junk as far as like whether it was our respective schools or whether it was our respective teams, him being a Giant fan, me being a Cowboy fan. There was always this natural rivalry going back and forth between, he and I. And then, fast forwarding, he had called me one night. I was just in the house chilling. He called me one night. It's like, yo, B, they, presented an opportunity to me to, do a sports podcast on a radio show. And I was like, whoa, wow, that's pretty dope. And honestly, we were actually already thinking about doing it. We were just trying to figure out, how with space and, what the concept would be, how we would do it. But he was presented with this opportunity, and when he was presented with it, he was like, yo, you was the first person I thought of. And at the time, I couldn't do it, my work schedule. And the show was like 12 in the afternoon. So I was like, yo, there's no way I'm going to be able to do a show 12 in the afternoon. And it was on Mondays. I'm like, yeah, I'm at work, bro. So I kind of had to pass. But I did, he said he was starting it. I paid attention. I saw his other, former co-hosts and stuff like that. And I was like, damn, I would have been perfect for that. But then, an opportunity, my job, I guess, not opportunity changed, but my job function, I guess, or my days and stuff like that, my schedule changed. And then I got back to him like, yo, you still need somebody for the podcast? I know you got a host, or I think at the time it was a hostess. It was a woman. And he was like, yo, it's funny because, she had to lead a show. So, come through. And at that time, the time changed to nighttime. It was like in the evening now, like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. So I'm like, yeah, I'm free to do it at that time. And then, like I said, we linked up. We did the first show, and it's been history ever since. We going into the 8th year Off the Top Sports. I'm year 7, so this is like the 7 is the number of completion.
Yeah.
So it's year 7 for me. But yeah, it's been a grind, just trying to build everything from the mud pretty much. June, we have this relationship where we allow each other to do what we're great at or what we're good at. June is good at what he does, and I'm good at what I do. So it's a perfect mesh.
Now, for a lot of people who don't know, you said it at the top of the show that you call yourself Be the Analyst. That's your name out there online and all that stuff like that. What is the difference between an analyst and just somebody who comments on sports?
I think an analyst is somebody that can comment and analyze sports regardless of your fandom. I always, me being a Cowboy fan, you get a lot of people that when I do my analysis of the team, they're like, "You sure you're a fan?" Or they have this, not theory, but they have this assumption that I'm just like this, like how most Cowboy fans are, like outlandish and just brash and just always saying, "Oh no, next year, next year, and I'm like, "Nah, I'm a realist." Like I literally go into my fandom, analyzing the off season, what pieces were added, what coaches were added, and if I don't feel like the pieces or the coaches that were added were of championship caliber, I say, they'll be competitive, but I don't see them going all the way. And I just think that people that just talk football, the people that I don't particularly like to talk to, are the ones that regardless of their fandom, they can't be objective. They'll say, "Oh, Cowboys suck," even though I'm like, do they? I mean, I understand that they've fallen short of the ultimate glory, but they've had some good seasons. They
True.
just didn't end the way that they were supposed to, end. Or they, overly criticize a specific player, or they, call a player, ass or whatever. And I'm like,
Just for the record, Dez called it. Anyways, I just had to throw that in there.
but yeah, I just think that that's the difference. I like to talk to people that, look at the game from a different lens. Because when I watch football, I look at the game from a different lens. I'm not one of those people that feel like the quarterback should get all of the credit and all of the blame. I'm definitely one of those people that feel like, everything that happens with the team, accomplishment-wise, involves the entire team: offense, defense, special teams, front office, everything. You have to have everything that is, right in order for you to win. I don't think it's all on one player.
Now, to get to that space in your mind where you're able to separate fact from fiction or fact from expectation, you probably had to look up to somebody and say, "All right, I like the way this person looks at sports," so on and so forth. Who are some of your influences that you like? Because you're good at what you're good at. You're pretty good at what you do. You know what I mean? I'll give you your flowers on that. You know what I mean? I can be the Cowboys fan that goes at people, but I do it just to be snarky and joke with people. But I'm a realist too. Like I've been there. Listen, I became a Cowboys. Dennis asked me, I said, "When did you become a Cowboys fan?" I became a Cowboys fan when we beat the Steelers, and my stepdad was a Steelers fan, and I ain't like him, so I was like, you know what, I'm a Cowboys fan, and then I just stuck with him. You know what I mean? I've been through him through Dave Campo, through all the craziness. We had hope with Bill Parcells. I'm going down the wrong tangent. Get back to you. Who did you look up to as far as sports analysts that you just said, I really respect their opinion, and it's kind of helped you evolve in this space?
Well, it was a couple people. I mean, in real life, I used to watch football every Sunday with one of my big bros. He's older than me. His name's Sonny, and he's a big time Steelers fan. But through those years, as in my teenage years, we watching football every week, and we just always used to break. He always used to break stuff down, and when he used to break stuff down, because I used to have that, what I like to call an elementary mindset of how you look at the game. I used to feel like, they got better players, they should win. You know what I mean? And I just, he was always telling me like, that ain't how it go. Like the NFL is a tough league. You're going to have those times where, teams that you feel like should win aren't going to win, or they aren't going to have their best day. It all comes down to, the chess match that's on the sidelines, which is the coaching. The schemes and all of that. So he got me into that, early. And the older I got, the more I started to look and realize like, that really is how football works. Like, you have to have the proper game plan. And if, even though somebody might have, a team might have better players, maybe by name, it's all about how the games are played on the field. So he was really my first one. As far as, the first motivator and stuff like that. The other person, They wasn't really an analyst though. They were pretty much like a commentator, but Stu Scott.
Okay.
I just love the way that the way he analyzed, because I don't remember him being like on any shows like First Take and stuff like that or whatever it was, but the way he used to give his analysis of the game, very charismatic. I know people would look at it as more of the commentary side of things, but there was definitely some things that I learned from watching, like, just remembering Stu Scott growing up, watching his clips and stuff like that, where I was like, I could take a thing or two from him. So I guess that's kind of where I get like the spicy or savvy part of my analysis from.
Got it.
Yeah.
Man, you sound like one of them. What's my man? You taking this thing further 7 years. What type of accomplishment is that? Because, like I said, when I came on your show, the average podcast might last 10 episodes. Y'all 7 years in, damn near 8 going on. Because when June came up, y'all was at 7. So by the time this summer come around, y'all be at 8. How do you feel about that, like, as an accomplice? Because, in this digital space, prayerfully, unless the internet goes away or something like that, your voice lasts forever. You got kids, you talk about that, so your kids will be able to hear these things long beyond when you and me are gone. 7 years, how you feel about that?
Feels great, to be honest. It's definitely something that wasn't easy. You definitely have to for anybody that's aspiring to start their own podcast, whether it be sports related or whatever, I just feel like you should always just go for it, right? And stay consistent. I think a lot of podcasts, like you said, don't last that long because people don't know how to stay consistent. It definitely is a grind. You have to put the work in, and you also have to put into your craft. I don't know everything, but I know a little bit about everything, right? So but I'm always doing my research. I'm always looking up things, interesting points. Sometimes I use social media in a way where I might look in the comments and see that people are saying this about a certain player or whatever, and then I'll start going and look up information because I'm like, I know this is not the first time this has ever happened in history. I just feel like a lot of people make big deals about certain players when they don't like that player or whatever. Just for example, like they'll say like Dak Prescott never did this and this and that and that, and then I'm like, all right, well, let me go look something up, and then I'll find out that some of the legends of the sport have had like terrible, like case in point, they'll talk about his playoff record, but we know that's an overall team thing. They always say oh, he chokes in the playoffs. Well, I'm like, well, I never knew that 18 total touchdowns and 7 interceptions in 7 games was bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought when you think about those numbers, you're like, nah, that's not individually bad, right? And then, when I'm looking it up and I'm seeing like John Elway had a playoff completion percentage of 56%, and has thrown just as many touchdown passes as he thrown interceptions, but he has two Super Bowl rings. It makes you think.
And it took a while to get there.
It took him a whole 15 years.
Right.
He was drafted in '83. He didn't get his first one till '98. So, it's just, a lot of things as far as like, with winning and losing and how that works out. But I just getting back, I just think that you should just, continue to, if you start something, finish it. Always, just try to, like I said, be a student of the game. Basically, learn your craft, and just know what you're talking about. The reason why Off the Top Sports has lasted so long is because we know what we're talking about, and we're very particular. And sometimes you have to be about the guests that we have and stuff like that, because at the end of the day, our reputation on the line. So we can't have people that's just coming up there just talking and just saying anything. Oh, this team, we think that you really, if you feel a certain type of way, then you have to come and support it with some facts. You know what I mean? That's what we trying to teach the people. And I think that's something that we've definitely been doing.
That's funny because you said that, like, when it comes to like the factual things, it's like I'll be there for an episode and then sometimes y'all are cut to something that I don't know not to say I don't know nothing about,
Maybe
but I'm not really there,
Yeah.
and I'll be like, that's when you see me to be the most quiet. I'll do a little ad lib here and there. I'll be like, yeah, because I'll try to, but I'm like, nah, this ain't me, and I'm gonna sit this one out. But I think that's so important in this sports realm where people just throw out wild stuff, and you be like, yo, this don't like, you ever watch one of them clips on like YouTube Shorts or whatever, and they start taking you down a rabbit hole, and it's like, all this is false. And it's like, this was a waste of the minute and a half, minute and 30 seconds, whatever, of my life. Like, I could have just not watched this. So having accuracy, especially in sports, is so important. Here's one thing, that I'm gonna insert a clip in here. But you talked about earlier this year when I was on your show, and it has been the talk of pretty much all season, and so deadly accurate. But NFL officiating, as we get ready to go into the Super Bowl, we're, I guess, you talked about that at the beginning of the season for the most part, and now we close to pretty much at the end. Any further comments on that?
With NFL officiating,
Yeah.
I mean, things have been what they've been. As I'm watching the playoffs, there were, a lot of calls that were missed. There were some that were, caught, I guess. When you think about NFL officiating, most of these men, I don't know if they have any other jobs, but I feel like when you are an official for a professional sport, a sport that pays you enough to pretty much, you can survive off just being an NFL ref, I think that they should, make sure that they are putting into their craft, because it's just a lot of too many missed calls in pivotal points of the game. In the beginning of the year, what we talked about was how, the more actually it was even before this year. It was maybe a few years ago, once they made gambling and everything like that a legal thing, especially with sports betting. We talked about the influence that it would have, on games, and that influence has pretty much shown, on top of already being good, the Kansas City Chiefs do seem to get the benefit of a lot of calls. I don't know if you can call them coincidental at this point, because it's been happening for a while now. It's almost like it's just one of those, things that come with it. Like, listen, if you go play Kansas City, you're gonna have to play them and the refs and, the fans if you on the road. Like, it's just it's a tough league within itself. Having bad officiating can be, detrimental to the game. There's a lot of people that are starting to kind of like get fed up with, the rules analysts and stuff like that, who pretend after watching something on camera or video replay in slow motion, pretend to act like, a call can't be decided, or if they don't know what they, I don't know. It's very hard to tell from that angle. It's like, you guys have put so many cameras around the field. Like, we got to be able
Plus the pylon cameras.
Thank you. Like, at some point, it's like, all right, this is $1 billion, company, which is the NFL. Or you got to be able to, see from a camera angle, slow motion, if a guy fumbled or if he was down and, this and that. So it does need to improve. But they've been bad, all over, all types of ways.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? If they're bad they've been bad towards both teams. If they're bad for one day, towards one team, they've been bad towards the other team too. I've never seen like a lopsided call. It's just those moments, those pivotal moments that, a fourth and whatever, that a team, the opposition may have stopped them, but next thing you know, there's a flag. Oh, this guy was actually offsides, or
like a whole Buffalo Wild Wings commercial.
Yeah. So that's what it feels like. But NFL officiating, it does need some improvement for sure.
It definitely does, and it's like I said, you were spot on. Like, when what was it, the Chiefs? I don't know what Chiefs games it was. I shouldn't even question what team I'm talking about, but it was one of them Chiefs games where I wanted to be like that, and I couldn't find the clip, so I could just throw back up there on social media like, didn't we just talk about this like 5 minutes ago? So it is what it is. But I know that you will probably talk about Super Bowl predictions on your show on Tuesday at 6 p.m. No,
6 p.m.
6 p.m.
Yeah, I mean we'll go over it, but I gave my prediction last week,
Okay,
so it's nothing really for me to talk about.
nothing really to talk about. So we got a couple little things that happened recently. Hopefully, you can give a little. I don't want to take too much away from what you and June got.
We
going
always
on.
can reiterate.
Okay.
It's fine.
Okay. So this we're gonna switch over to basketball. The biggest news. The trade.
Mm-hmm.
Luka to the Lakers. I'm not even a basketball head like that. You know what I mean? You might not see me until we start talking about football and the draft again, pulling up to the show. Yeah. And that's how much I'm not a basketball head. But thoughts on it? Early thoughts on it?
I mean, first time I believe two superstars have been traded for each other. This probably is the biggest trade in the NBA history. But at the same time, I mean, if there's been people asking me questions all day. Who you think won and lost the trade, and of course, you have people that are Laker fans that like, ooh, Luka, shiny new toy. But I low key feel like the Mavericks won this trade only because of the value that Anthony Davis brings on both ends of the floor. He's somebody that, offensively, he's good. He can give you 30 on any given night, and he also can grab, anywhere between 16 to 20 rebounds on a crazy night too. He's a rim protector, and I think this is an opportunity for him to, he was playing center in LA, which is something that he's always been uncomfortable playing. I think now he gets to go to Dallas where they already have some bigs over there. And he could play his natural position of 4 and, excel there. He's there with Kyrie, who is, special in his own right. And then you have Klay Thompson that stretches the floor. So I think, depth-wise and everything, after looking at their roster, I think, the Mavericks, they did improve. If Anthony Davis could just be, and that's always the caveat, if he can stay healthy, if he could be on the court. But it's the same thing for Luka. I think that the Mavericks tried to. I think this was a money move. They wanted to save themselves some money. We're not in the day-to-day. There have been reports out there of Luka Doncic not really taking care of his body and just, being careless as far as like, his conditioning, and he's been injured some. He's gaining a lot of weight. They, reportedly have him listed at about 270 pounds, which is he's not built like LeBron. You know what I mean? That's a lot of fat. It's just not good. Mm-hmm. And then you talking about when he could be eligible for a super max, which would have paid him a ridiculous number like 345 million mm-hmm. over like a 7-year period. It's like, do you want to make that investment to somebody who is not actually investing into their own body? So, they trade that away. They get to save some bucks, and then you get a quality player. I know Anthony Davis is a little older, but look, I told a friend of mine earlier, 31 is not that old, especially when you're talking about when you play basketball. You got guys playing well in past 35. I think Anthony Davis has a lot of quality years left in him. You just gotta stay healthy. But when he's healthy and he's out there, and if everything starts to gel, the Mavericks got better.
Going back to the gridiron, I'm gonna say the one I know you're gonna have a diatribe about last. Chip Kelly to the Raiders offensive coordinator, like
he earned it. This is what happens when you are the offensive coordinator of a significantly hot college team, and that's basically what happened. He put his best, as far as his resume, it speaks for itself. He's been in the game for years, but he put his best work on display those last 4 games, mm-hmm. Beginning in the playoffs, starting with Tennessee and going all the way to Notre Dame. Ohio State offensively just hit another gear, and Chip Kelly is a big part of that. Michigan, they underwhelmed. A lot of people start to question him, along with Ryan Day. And, he got back in the lab and just said, yo, what am I doing? I've been doing this for too long. Like, I just got to let it fly. And, it just seems like he had a perfect call for every defensive look in those playoffs, So, and they play some supremely talented defenses in that entire playoff run. From Tennessee was a really good defense out of the SEC. You followed that up with Oregon, who was also a very top 10 defense.
And they lost to them before, so
yeah. So they were able to avenge that. And then you go play Texas. Texas, another top 10 defense that they were able to see that they outplayed. And then Notre Dame was another top 5 defense. So it's just he earned it. I had a feeling that somebody would call, maybe not for a head coaching position, but definitely if you want somebody to run your offense,
right?
Some guys are just made to be coordinators, and so he made in the direction that they're going in. They're trying to definitely spice things up in Vegas, and it started with the hire of what's my guy name?
Pete Carroll.
Yeah, it started with that hire. And, they just been, putting together a nice little staff over there in Vegas. So we'll see what happens.
You think, obviously, you stated everything that Chip Kelly did on display, but obviously he's been in the league before. He has experience as a head coach, ran the Eagles into the ground, whatever, and all that good stuff. Do you think, he was the coach for the 49ers for like 5 minutes, right? I forgot all about that. But do you think that in this time gap, like you said, he's learned all his lessons to be successful in the NFL?
Yeah. And like I said, when you have one side of the ball to focus on, all you have to do is worry about the offense. You don't got to worry about the overall. I think that makes your job a little easier, and I think that's just his bread and butter. He's always had a reputation as being a great offensive coordinator. It's just, about putting things together. So I think he'll be fine as a coordinator for sure.
All right. The last one, the last relevant sports question. This is probably the one that hits closest to the heart. Brian Schottenheimer, I had this little joke about Brian Schottenheimer. I was like, he sounds like his daddy, but he don't look like him. I don't know if that's really his son. Just playing. But thoughts on the hire, just overall thoughts on the hire, because it's a lot I got to say about it. But this your segment.
I mean, the hire is something that seems a bit typical of Dallas to hire from within. I don't mind hiring from within as long as to keep continuity and everything going. But there's a lot that I know about my team that the average fan wouldn't, or that people on the outside looking in don't know. They just see and listen to the media on mainstream and tell them it's a bad hire. There's a guy in the Dallas organization that just received a nice extension too. I'm so happy about that, because without this man, I don't know where Dallas would be right now. Honestly, it probably would be far worse. But Will McClay, and for those that don't know, he's the vice president. He's the vice president of player personnel. So he, works very closely with the scout team. He's basically what a lot of real Dallas fans know, and not to call anybody really a fake one, but the ones that are more into the details of, the operations, they always call him the GM without the actual title. So, he's had a lot of success as far as our drafting. But we don't believe that he gets enough of the control in the free agency period, which has, been a problem.
Clearly.
But Will McClay signed off on this hire. He's the one, from what I've been reading, some reports from behind the scenes that was saying that he basically went to Jerry and told Jerry, like, yo, we got a guy right in-house, I'm telling you. Now, when it comes to players, we have this saying, and will I trust? I really have a deep liking, pause, for Will McClay. I think that he's very good at what he does, and I think that he doesn't get enough of the credit, because the Jones family is the Jones family. But if he signed off on the hire, I'm gonna give it a shot.
Okay.
Now, if you want to be the Cowboy fan that's optimistic, right? You can look at it in this direction. You can look at it as, hey, we've seen a lot of offensive coordinators that are, high and mighty, the shiny, Chip, like Chip Kelly's and Otherworld and, other amongst others, right? That are just high profile names, and their offenses lit things up. Ben Johnson, another guy that got a head coaching opportunity this year, from the Lions to the Bears, right? But there have been a lot of coordinators that were high profile that they got the head coaching job and they weren't really good. On the flip side, you can get a guy, right, that people might not think that highly of as far as what he was as an offensive coordinator, and he might be a good head coach. Who knows? It's all about getting the right staff around you, which I've seen some of the hires staff-wise. I think that they are solid. By those hires, I can tell you right now the direction and I can tell you the direction that the Cowboys are going. And the Cowboys are going back towards running the football. And that's what Brian Schottenheimer does.
Marty Ball.
That's what Brian Schottenheimer does. Just a little background, those that they might have forgotten. He was the offensive coordinator for the Jets when they went to 2 back-to-back AFC Championship games with Mark Sanchez. Okay, he more recently, before coming to Dallas, he was in Seattle when the term "let Russ cook" that was shoddy. Letting it rip. So they say even though he didn't call the plays in Dallas, he was part of the game plan. Tried to, I guess, put the run concepts together, which, once they finally, gave the keys to Rico Dowdle, you were able to see.
Got 1,000 yards out of him.
Got 1,000 yards out of him, and he didn't really really officially get the RB1 title till about week 9. Mm-hmm. You think? So, you're talking about the last maybe 10 weeks of the season where he was able to, get 9-10 weeks able to get going. But I'm telling you, they're going to run the ball. The offensive coordinator that they just hired, he's coming from Arizona, very high in run efficiency. He was actually an O-line coach, O-line that was top 5 in pressures allowed. That was they were the 3rd rushing offense in the league this year.
Okay.
So, it's a lot that's going into, the Marty Schottenheimer, the Brian Schottenheimer hire. Like I said, I have to see how it goes. I'm going to see how they address free agency. I will basically pay attention to how they run the draft. They've had some.
Well, that was my next question.
Yeah, pretty good.
I'm not going to ask what player.
Okay.
But what position do you think we need to address?
I've seen what he was talking about receiver. Now I'll say this: I'm all for getting a receiver if you address offensive line and defensive line in free agency. If you do not address offensive line and defensive line in free agency, then I need an offensive lineman or a defensive lineman drafted in probably the first 2 rounds. I don't even want to look at any skill players till later on, because when you think about this draft, there are some guys out there that are really, really, really talented, and you always can find a gem somewhere, when it comes to like running backs and receivers and other positions like that. But I think that to be successful, everything starts in the trenches. And you have to be able to move guys, if you're playing defensive line, you need to be able to get pressure on the quarterback, And if you are playing offensive line, you need to be able to protect your quarterback. So that's where I'm at with it.
Fair enough. We about to wind down. I think you don't gave us a lot of knowledge, a lot of nuggets, a lot to look forward to.
Appreciate it.
With all these teams, the Ohio State Buckeyes, winning the championship, the Cowboys, giving us a broad view, letting us know your history and off the top sports, all that good stuff. But you're not just sports. You do a little bit more than that. You branch out, So here's your chance to talk about a little bit about what else you got going on. You know what I mean? Multifaceted.
Yeah. Just trying to use all of my talents to the best of my ability. If you're referring to the music side, I'm part of a management team. It's a team. It's not just me, but it's a management team. Right now, we're in the process of managing an artist by the name of Tribe Mark, and he's from Newark, New Jersey. How do I describe Tribe Mark? Generational. And I'm not just saying that because I'm on the management team. There's this Drake line, or it's not even Drake that says the line, but it's like a little skit on one of his songs, and he talks about only real music is gonna last. All the other BS is gonna be here today and gone tomorrow. And Tribe Mark is definitely one of those artists that is he's not gonna be gone tomorrow. Once the world hears him, they're gonna want to hear more of him. Hip hop artist, but he definitely has the versatility to do some Afro. And amongst other things, maybe some Caribbean music. He is of Haitian descent, and like I said, our relationship came about maybe about a little over 10 years ago now. I met him, and ever since then we just clicked like big brother, little brother. He came to me maybe about 6, coming up on 7 years ago. And he was like, yo, I rhyme, man. And I'm like, I've heard people tell me that they rhyme before. And I'm like, oh, you rhyme? I'm like, all right, yeah, okay. And then he let me hear some stuff. And I'm like, hold up. No, you rhyme for real. Like, let's do, And he's like, yeah, I'm trying to do something with it. I said, well, listen, if you're trying to do something with it, and, everybody needs a team, everybody needs help. I said, I don't know a lot about the music business, but I can find out. And he's already a smart individual himself, even though to be so young. But definitely, it's just something that I've been working on, and things have been, skyrocketing. There have been, deals on the table and things of that nature. But he's like I said, a smart individual, so he knows not to let the ways of that world get to him. And we're just staying patient until the right deal pops up on the table.
That's what's up. We are in Black History Month. You know what I mean? It is what it is. With what's coming from the top, but we still gonna celebrate it. I posted a post today, and I talked about it was something I did with the Black Man Can, and they did a thing called Legacy Letters, and I talked about making sure that we tell our stories. You know what I mean? When it's all said and done, not like dead or nothing like that, but when it's all said and done, what is the story at this point in your life of Bahron Lucas?
The story, I mean, I just, there's a I have a daughter, and I just want to leave my legacy behind to her. And, no matter what, I just want her to see that, her father was, one of those guys that wasn't a stranger to hard work. He gonna get up and he gonna get after it and he gonna get to it. And along the way, he's gonna influence people. And I think that's something that I've done, so far. There's people right now that, hey, listen, I was looking up something and I was arguing with somebody in the barbershop and they, what I'm saying, they was giving me some numbers. So did this happen? They calling me for my expertise on, a certain, sports thing. So I just feel like, and my, shout out to my wife. she's another person that, you know, if somebody say something sports related, you know, she's asking me. You know, she's not Googling. So, you know, even in that says a lot. That says that, you know, B knows what he's talking about, what he's doing. And that's just something that I just try to carry out, you know, along, you know, my life period, man. Just you know, put as long as you put the hard work in, you'll reap benefits.
Last question. If you had one goal, one dream, anything for Off the Top Sports in the next 5 years, what would it be?
I would like to do some live shows, man. I really would. You know, me and June, we had this other vision too, where I think the only thing that kind of stopped it, kind of like put it on hold, was a reliable camera crew, and COVID. COVID kind of struck, but you know, we had this dope idea, man, and I still, something in me, I think about that every day. You know, what I wanted to do, and it was called Barbershop Talk. But you know, like I said, COVID and a camera crew. But you know, we wanted to travel around and to different barbershops and just, you know, come up with some, you know, that talk that we talk in the barbershop.
Enough of them out here.
Yeah, and put them on camera. And, you know what I'm saying? Even if it got to something that was so big that we like flying out to like Chicago, or we flying out to, you know, maybe down south, and we just basically, you know, debating with all the, you know, sports lovers around, because everybody loves sports for the most part in this world. Just debating with them, you know, the different sports categories or whatever, as it pertains to their certain areas and stuff like that. So yeah, that's something that I definitely want to get back into or get into. I think that's something that'd be dope for.
Now that's live. Like I as you talking about it, I envisioned it. I was like, if you, because you know, there's been iterations of barbershop shops.
Bron stole my idea. Real talk with the shop. He stole my idea. But the shop is not like this. It's not.
It doesn't look like that. No, the way you described it and the way I envisioned it, it's totally different.
It's totally different. It's like real raw and uncut, where you would have people that's in there actually getting their hair cut. And, you know, we just, you know, come in and I just, you know, introduce who the barbers are there and what barbershop we're at, you know, to also in one breath, like we said, it's Black History Month, support that black business. And also, you know, like I said, just, you know, network with our people, man. You know what I'm saying? A lot of stuff, learn some history from it. You know, I think it's something that in my mind could be a definitely.
No, that's gonna go. That's gonna go 110%. Like I like as you described it, I'm like, I'm a big thinker. So like when I sometimes I gotta like reel it back in. Like, hold on, they, not to say that people ain't ready, but they're not ready to when you, I'm a mirror. So you give something to me, I'm gonna give it back to you 10 times bigger. Like, yo, damn, that really could work. So that's what I'm thinking about when I see and I hear you talking about that. So we gonna pray that that's gonna happen, and then within the next couple of years. You know, before we close out, I want you to just give everybody all your links, any where somebody can reach you. Obviously, just remind people, you know, what time the show comes on. Everything that needs to be said, that's all yours.
Well, like I said, this is Be the Analyst. You can catch me on Off the Top Sports every Tuesday from 6 to 8 p.m. via YouTube, Twitch. We on Facebook, IG Live. You know, like, share, and subscribe. And also via the A Squad Rebel Radio page as well. Also, my IG is Be the Analyst. That's one word, BTHEANALYST. That's my IG. I'm on Facebook. That's my, you know, personal name, Bahron Lucas, BAHRON. Bahron with an H. Shout out to my pops for adding that nuance. Didn't have to, but shout out to him. And you know, my email, you can email me too. Is my first name, BAHRON, the letter T .LUCAS@gmail.com, for any type of inquiries or anything related to podcasting or whatever. I'm open to it all.
That's what's up. That's what's up. That is Bahron Lucas. Be the Analyst, the second half of Off the Top Sports Radio. Thank you for coming through tonight, and just chopping it up, giving us some good nuggets and some stuff that can be talked about. The good thing is, like, when when we come to your show, we talk about a lot of stuff that's like current news and stuff like that. And when people come here, they get the nuggets, like the stuff that's evergreen, the stuff that's gonna last. So I can see some of the stuff that you're talking about, posting this for years to come. So just know that you are leaving a legacy, and I just thank you for just making the time to pull up. You know what I mean? It's been a while in the making. But for more, follow him on everywhere he said that he's at. And if you got some questions for him, shoot him at him. Shoot him at him. He's gonna give you some facts only. You know what I mean? And more than anything, you know what I mean. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and comment on this episode to let us know what you think about anything that he said, anything that I said, and thank you for watching. This is the House of Boom podcast, Boom on Sports, all that good stuff, and we are out. Peace. That's it.